Abigail Suzanne (Abby) Martin is an American journalist and presenter of The Empire Files, a weekly investigative news program on Teleshow English. She was formerly the host of Breaking the Set on RT America Network, working from the Washington, D.C. bureau. Before hosting her own show, she had worked for 2 years as a correspondent for RT America. Martin is also an artist and activist, and helped found the citizen journalism website, Media Roots. She serves on the board of directors for the Media Freedom Foundation, which manages Project Censored. Martin appeared in the documentary film Project Censored, the movie, ending the reign of junk food news, and co-directed 99%. The Occupy Wall Street collaborative film. Early life. Martin grew up in Pleasanton, California, where she attended Amador Valley High School, graduating in 2002. She became interested in journalism when her old high school boyfriend enlisted in the military after the September 11th attacks in 2001. "I didn't want him going to war, let alone fighting in one," she recalls. "I began to critically ask, what is really going on?" By the time she was a sophomore at San Diego State University, she began questioning what she called the selling of the Iraq War by the media. She received an undergraduate degree in political science and minored in Spanish. In 2004, she campaigned for John Kerry's presidential campaign, but became disillusioned with the left-right paradigm, a concept proposing that societies have a tendency to divide themselves into ideological opposites. Martin worked for a time as an investigative journalist for a San Diego-based online news site until moving back to Northern California. In 2008, Martin posted a video showing her support for the 9/11 Truth movement. She has labeled the U.S. government's version of September 11, 2001 as propaganda. During the administration of President George W. Bush, she said of the attacks, "I've researched it for 3 years and every single thing that I uncover solidifies my belief that it was an inside job and that our government was complicit in what happened." The New York Times described her as a 9/11 conspiracy theorist, but Martin told the Associated Press in March 2014 that she no longer subscribes to the theory that 9/11 was an inside job as she did earlier. Graphic arts. After high school, Martin began painting. Themes in her paintings include politics, nature, and psychedelia. She also takes photographs and makes collages. Her works have been exhibited several times around California. She views art as an amazing outlet and a way to interpret the ugly truths in the world and reflect a better future. Media Roots. In 2009, Martin founded the organization Media Roots, a citizen journalism platform for reporting news. As an independent journalist with Media Roots, Martin covered the Occupy Oakland actions during the Occupy Wall Street movement in 2011. Her documentary video footage of Occupy Oakland protests was used by the family of 24-year-old Scott Olson, who was injured during the protests, in a lawsuit against the Oakland Police Department. Martin's footage was used to argue that the protests were non-violent. At the time, Olson was allegedly hit in the head with a police projectile. RT took notice of Martin's work and began using her as a correspondent. In the fall of 2010, she moved to Washington, D.C., breaking the set. Martin began hosting her own show, Breaking the Set, on RT America in September 2012 from Washington, D.C. The show mixes media criticism with investigative journalism. It describes itself as a show that cuts through the pre-written narrative that tries to tell you what to think and what to care about, and is a show that cuts through the false left-right paradigm set by the establishment and reports the hard facts. The original opening credits depict Martin applying a sledgehammer to a television tuned to CNN. A later version of the opening credits depicted Martin traveling in a helicopter over Manhattan's Central Park. According to Rolling Stone magazine, past shows investigated Monsanto, Nestle, the U.S. federal electoral system, the drone program, the NSA, Israel, Obama, and water fluoridation. Martin drew widespread media attention when she closed her show on March 3, 2014 with a minute-long statement condemning the Russian military intervention in Ukraine. She appeared to be reading from a teleprompter, leading observers to conclude that her remarks were made with the consent of the show's producers. RT also issued a statement saying, "Contrary to the popular opinion, RT doesn't beat its journalists into submission, and they are free to express their own opinions, not just in private but on the air." RT added, "We'll be sending her to Crimea to give her an opportunity to make up her own mind from the epicenter of the story." Martin declined the offer, saying, "I am not going to Crimea." Despite the statement RT has made, the Breaking the Set program came to an end in February 2015, with Martin leaving RT and stating she had decided to focus on investigative field reporting. Speaking for RT, Annabelle Kenner told BuzzFeed, "Abby decided that this is the time for her to try something new. We are proud of the great work she has done as the host of Breaking the Set." Reception. Journalist Nick Afanascu of Der Tagesspiegel said Martin looks like a model and acts like a punk. Writer Jeremy Koss described her as vibrant, artistic and outspoken. Millennial magazine portrayed Martin as an unfiltered media representative for the millennial generation who reports stories that deserve public recognition. Selected work. Television: The Empire Files. Breaking the Set. Host: RT America correspondent. Film: 99%. The Occupy Wall Street collaborative film. Co-director. Project censored the movie as herself. Books: Martin, Abby. Framing the Messengers. Junk Food News and News Abuse for Dummies. In Mickey Huff Censored 2012. The Top 25 Censored Stories of 2010-11. 7 Stories Press. ISBN 1609803582. Martin, Abby. Media Democracy in Action. In Mickey Huff Censored 2012. The Top 25 Censored Stories of 2010-11. 7 Stories Press. ISBN 1609803582. Radio Media Roots Radio. Project Censored. KPFA. Co-host. Video Media Roots TV. Artwork: The Crisis of Civilization film poster.